Hello, everybody. We are back on the PHLY Eagles show, joined by Torrey Smith. The people who watched the show yesterday will have known this the saga. We finally got you in the table. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I mean, we're here. We are an Eagles show at the Super Bowl, and I think when people think of Eagles Super Bowl, thinking about Torrey Smith. What do you do with your ring?
Left at the hotel. This is the time you're supposed to wear your rings.
Yeah, flash that thing off.
I had my rings, and then I put lotion on my hand before I walked out the door. I left it. I hope it's there. It wouldn't fall out my hand and
that's
dry
a big.
over.
That's a big tip for.
When I leave here, the first thing I'm doing is going to my hotel room to make sure my rings are there.
All of a sudden it's on eBay next to Zach Stanley water bottle. Who knows?
So you have two Super Bowls, okay?
Yep.
Which one, when like in terms of word association, when I say Super Bowl, is it the Eagles one that comes to mind or the Ravens one that comes to mind?
For sure, the first one with the Ravens, but I'm gonna get my disclaimer. This is not a political answer.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not a political answer. So the first time when I was in Baltimore, we lost in the AFC Championship game our rookie year. Second year we go back, we win the Super Bowl. But that season, my brother had passed away. My family, we have never been on a family vacation or anything like that, so I had all of them down there in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. It was a good experience for my family. Celebrate with them on the field afterwards. Fast forward to Philly, coming from San Fran, tough couple of years. We win in Philly, and then I'm celebrating. I have 2 kids. So, like, it's just two different perspectives
of life.
Yeah, 2 different stages of life. One being young and, one being a little bit older and having those kids there. So I appreciate them both in a different way.
From the Eagles Super Bowl, when you think of the game itself, what is, like, the most vivid memory you have?
Oh, man. So many, man. I could go from – I had a helmet catch. I've never had that before. Yeah. I remember – Foles throw to the back of the end zone to Corey. Man, that was a dime. I was like, man, that was crazy. And then I had the best seat in the house on Philly Special. So
that's right.
That was for sure the moment to remember from that game.
And I know you've been asked about that play a million times, but like when the call comes in and you hear Nick say this is what it is, are you like,
here it is. It's about to happen. You know what I mean? It's like it was crazy.
Don't flinch.
I'm like, man, y'all serious? Like, it's fourth. All right, let's go. Like, I'm like, all right, coach playing to win. Let's go. But I think for it to work out the way it did, I mean, that's obviously a legendary play in NFL history. It's pretty cool.
In your mind, what's the most important play from that game? Because I can jog your memory with a few, but I'm curious, without doing that, which one jumps to mind?
I mean, I think that Philly Special and Ertz 4th down conversion. I
was going to say that 4th and 2.
Ertz 4th down conversion is probably the play that people forget about, but doesn't happen without that.
So as you have watched from afar, I know you're keeping tabs on what's going on in Philly. Mm-hmm. Like, without being in the locker room, but knowing guys who were there, what do you make of the way things just sort of collapsed down the end of the stretch?
Yeah, I just think sometimes, like, everyone looks for a reason, and sometimes you just don't play good, right?
Yeah.
It's about being consistent, and I think even though they were winning, they were never really consistent overall. And so in comparison to the year before when they were very dominant, they were consistent. You could count on this one thing looking the same way basically every week, right? The guys aren't perfect, but the defense is going to be rock solid every single. The offense, this is going to be the identity every single week. And I think it just never really came to life. And they were winning tough games. The year before, they were just stomping on people, right? And I think the margin between winning and losing in the league is always just a few plays. But they came out on again last year on that a lot more often than this year. So I never really panicked. Even then, I was still anticipating them to get it together during the playoffs because when we were in Baltimore the year we won the Super Bowl, you only mentioned the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
We started off 8-2 or 7, whatever it was, and then we finished our season 10-6. Like, we were the team that folks were like, what are they doing? They just had a meltdown, and we ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's possible. The biggest thing is to give yourself a chance by getting in, and you want to be playing your best ball late. And we didn't do that in Baltimore, and we were able to get it done. So I was like, based on their leadership, I really felt like they stood a chance at getting it done. But obviously, it did not come to life.
But go ahead.
And I was going to say, that year, Eagles fans kind of looked at that. You guys fired Jim Caldwell. I'm sorry, you fired your OC and promoted Jim Caldwell. The Eagles were hoping that's what happened with their defensive coordinator this past year. It did not work out that way. But the season for Philly turned when Dom DeSandro got ejected.
Yeah, man.
We have Fletcher Cox on the show every week. And Fletcher gave us his best Dom DeSandro story. I'm curious from your perspective, what's the best Dom DeSandro story you can share with us?
Man, I don't really have a one type of story from him, but Dom's the guy that, like, he knows every daggone body. Mm-hmm. Like, if I ever have a problem in any if I needed a plumber or if I needed anything in the world, I can call Dom. Like, he knows everyone in Philadelphia, and, like, his personality, he's infectious. I think he's just as much a part of that organization's culture as the coaches, right? Like, he's the therapist for so many guys on that team to help hold them together. So I think Dom, I love him to death, right? Even only being there that 1 year, I view him like a big brother to me, you know, somebody that, you know, I know I can count on for sure. But I think what he means to that locker room, I don't think people really understand it. You just view him as a security guy, but in my eyes, he is way much more than that. And in the organization's eyes, he's way bigger than that. You
talk about the coaches and how much Dom means, but I'm curious, as the Eagles have made this turnover on the staff, you know, bringing in a new defensive coordinator, bringing in a new offensive coordinator, changing some of the position coaches. If you're a player in the building when that's happening, are you like texting with your buddies, like, oh, you see who they brought in? Like, what's your level of interest?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
you become a little fanboy.
You're reaching out to guys
point.
who know them, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. How was this guy? Right. It's like anybody. Who are the new people?
And what do you make of like how it's going to go with Nick Sirianni now, sort of having his wings clipped a little bit, not being in charge of the offense? What do you think the response from the players will be to that?
I mean, the response for the players is always going to be the same, right? Whether Coach Sirianni's there or Coach Torrey Smith is their coach. They're trying to get paid, okay? Yeah. They want to win, and they're trying to get paid, so they're going to perform. Right. That's the thing. Do they respect you enough to get them to get better? And if that's the case, then absolutely you're going to be fine, right? And for this team, I think they've proven that they can be those guys, right? They played at the highest level. They were just there. Like, we're acting like this is y'all, I played on 2 sorry San Francisco teams. We were sorry, right? We, in Philadelphia, are complaining about a team that was arguably the best team in the middle of the season. So it's like, it's still right there. It's like, I think it's just more so fine-tuning and being consistent. So, yes, the roster's probably going to change a little bit as well with coaches' changes. Now it's about seeing how you build in with this new culture, because you're going to be hearing a different voice, but at least the same leader is still there to kind of help set the tone. So, I mean, I'm excited for the change for him. I mean, you have no choice but to be excited for it, right? Had they brought him back, can you imagine y'all two right now on air?
Yeah.
Right? Like, they had to do it because of y'all, right? Now, I'm just saying.
That's exactly right.
But, like, all jokes aside, like, when it comes to the fan base, and I think Mr. Laurie has done a good job of kind of reading the room, it's like sometimes even if the same coaching staff would have got it together and had a better year, sometimes you have to make change to speed that progress up a little bit to keep from outside noise being a distraction. Because the minute you lose doubt of the people that are leading you in the locker room, and sometimes that's poured in from outside sources, right? You have real problems. And I think having a fresh start was probably what's best for kind of everyone there, and I'm glad they kept Coach Sirianni because he's done a pretty good job.
Last one from me. You said only 1 year in Philly with the Eagles, but you have family in the area. We see you around a lot. What's the role of Philly in your life?
Oh, man, I love it, man. I'm up there all the time. Like I said, my folks, my in-laws are from Conshohocken, so before I was an Eagle, I was in that area, and I have a bunch of kids on my 7-on-7 team in Level 82 that are from North Philly and then out west. So we got kids at LaSalle, got kids from Germantown High School. So some of the better kids in the area come down with us. So I'm up there heavily committed, and again, I love it there. And I love the people there too. The people have always been great to me. My favorite thing about the people in Philadelphia is that I played there, did not play there for my first 6 years in the league. Used to go to the same restaurants, same everything, all of these years. Folks barely said a word to me. Then when I signed to the Eagles, the next day it's like, hey, I'm like, hey, did y'all hate me because I didn't play here or what? But it's always really cool, man, to come back and honestly to see something little that stands out is seeing, like, when you walk into the stores or the different delis or get a cheesesteak from somewhere, like that Super Bowl sticker is in every kind of space around. So it's like a good little memory to know what it meant to the people in that city.
Well, Torrey, thank you so much for taking the time. I would say one of the most impactful one-year Eagles careers. We really appreciate that.
Appreciate
Back with more on PHLY, the Eagles Show.
We all silly like the mayor.